Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started as a subcommittee. We do have representation here from both caucuses. I'm going to ask Mr. Chow to come forward and begin his presentation. And this is on AB 758. Just so as a refresher, this is a bill that was a 2-year bill back before us. We didn't hear it before, and so this is our opportunity to hear the bill. Thank you so much, Mr. Chow, for being here this morning.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members. In 2014, the legislature took away the California Acupuncture Board's authority to approve acupuncture schools and vested that power with the Accreditation Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, or ACOM in short, which is a national accrediting body approved by the U.S. Department of Education. Now, additionally, the legislature took away the board's authority to conduct site visits of acupuncture schools. The acupuncture community has raised some concerns about ACOM. Namely, in 2011, ACOM underwent a review of the approval process by the National Advisory Committee on Institutional Quality and Integrity, or NACI-QI for short, which found 24 incidents of underperformance in its accreditation duties. NACI-QI will again evaluate ACOM in 2016. Now, if problems arise during the 2016 review or in the near future, then ACOM would potentially be stripped of its accreditation authority by the USDOE. In such a scenario, California acupuncture schools would then be required to obtain accreditation by a body which is no longer approved by the U.S. Department of Education. AB 758 allows acupuncture schools to be accredited by the Accreditation Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, or yet another accrediting agency recognized by the USDOE. So we don't ever have the situation in which where California law solely requires acupuncture schools to be accredited by an agency not approved by the USDOE. And for many years, the board had not performed site visits. However, in 2014, the board was able to hire new staff and began performing site visits again. The board has visited about 2/3 of the previously approved schools and found compliance issues with every single school. AB 758 requires the board to conduct site visits to each acupuncture school to ensure compliance with California law. I have both two witnesses here joining us today to testify in support of the bill. The first one is Michelle Lau, who's here on behalf of the Council of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine Associations, and also Stephen Stump on behalf of the National Guild of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. So with that, I'd like to ask them to start testifying.
Thank you. In support of the bill?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Honorable Madam Chair, Madam Chair, and also the members. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm here to address the very important concern from the profession. And I am the president of the KOMA, and the KOMA has been in California almost 30 years. And we representing the Southern California and some Northern California major association. And we are the majority umbrella association in California. In the history, 30 years, we have been sponsor and also support involved about over 100 legislation bill. So we are almost like a representative of the profession. And very important, we support AB 758 is a concern about the education standard in California. California is the biggest, I say, the amount of the acupuncturists that we have about like over 15,000 acupuncture in California, almost 40% in the whole country. So AB 758 just asks for the board to supervision very carefully to the other school. They follow the education department requirement, also acupuncture regulation in California, and make sure they follow all this criteria, and then make sure they have a good training in the school. That's why the board taking their authority under the governmental agency. Very, very serious, important. Today, I representing, you see, we all have all the association president either coming from Northern California, Southern California, that we were presenting almost a total about 2,000 licensed acupuncture in here. So I let Stephen Stum, one of the co-sponsor of this bill, and that we also like him to talk about more. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Welcome. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, esteemed committee members. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak about AB 758 and the importance of it. This bill is about consumer protection, and it is about the role of the regulatory agency in California, the California Acupuncture Board, to go about its business of approving educational programs. Now, the Accreditation Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, which is the national certification body, also accredits schools, but that's different from approving schools. The regulatory board in California, as in every other state, 2 out of those 3 states defer or allow the regulatory board in that state to approve the schools so that the school's graduates may sit for a licensing exam. California is the only state with a licensing exam. Quite a few graduates of schools out of state take the California licensing exam because it's considered the highest standard in the nation. So AB 758 will allow the acupuncture board to retain its authority to approve schools. That does not exclude ACOM. In fact, we would like to see ACOM work collaboratively with the acupuncture board. Why is it important to approve schools? Because there are numerous schools. Half the schools in the country are in California. 40% of all acupuncturists are in California. Now, California is the leader in the nation. California should not be like other states. California should be its own state, conduct its own regulation. And that's all that we're asking for. We offered an amendment late yesterday afternoon, granted, late in the process, where California would discontinue the acupuncture board. We would remove the language for site visits of the acupuncture board, but retain the authority of the acupuncture board to approve schools, in collaboration with information collected and shared by the National Accreditation Body with the Acupuncture Board. So we urge you to vote yes to support this bill so it gets out of this committee and can go to the Assembly where we can continue discussion, amend the bill accordingly. Perhaps our amendment would be more acceptable with more time. I thank you for that time. Anybody has any questions that I can answer, I'm able to do that and perfectly willing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can we get your name for the record, please?
Stephen Stumpf, National Guild, Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, the only organized labor union for acupuncturists in the country.
Thank you. Also in support?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, Mitch Seaman with the California Labor Federation, also in support. As mentioned by the author and previous witnesses, we do see this as a pretty important measure to help protect quality standards for the industry both in and out of California, and we urge an aye vote.
Okay. Anyone else in support? Please come forward and state your name, your organization, and only your name and organization. Can we use the side microphone, perhaps, so we save time?
I'm
Thank
Dr.
you.
Hua Chang-Su. I'm president of California Acupuncture Oriental Medicine Association in
Thank
Southern
you.
California. About 150 acupuncture.
Okay, thank you.
We strongly support the bill.
Thank you.
But we
Okay, only your
hope-
name and organization.
Okay.
Testimony is concluded. Thank you. Yes.
And York Lee, former California Acupuncture Board Chair. I support AB 758. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas Lee, I'm a licensed acupuncture, also representative of UAA, the United Acupuncture Association, for a member of about 150, and we are under the umbrella of KOMA, and we support the bill. Thank you.
Morning, I'm Jun. I'm Jun Hu. I am American Association of Chinese Medicine and Acupuncture Vets president. We have 500 over in the members in North California.
Okay,
so
and say in
yes,
support.
yes,
Thank you.
We strong support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chair members, this is Da Fang Chen from Los Angeles. Behalf of the AMA, also KAMA member, we support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is James Kim. I am the Senior Vice President of the Korean Acupuncture and Asian Medicine Association in USA. I'm very happy to be here to support this AB 758. I appreciate your understanding.
Thank you.
Good morning. I came from the LA for support AB 758. I'm the Korean Acupuncture Association in America. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, honored chair and members. My name is Yongping Chen. I have MD, PhD degree education from China, and I really know the quality education is so important for the Korean and for the customer in California for consumers. So I represent CAUA, CAUA, which is the so far biggest acupuncture association in South California, and we strongly support AB 758. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and whole member. My name is Fan Jiang. I'm from California, TCM University, Alumni University. Member is over 250. I support 758 beer.
Thanks. Thank you very much. All right, now I'm going to invite anyone in opposition to come forward and speak. I'm also going to ask a representative of ACOM who's here to come and take a seat, because that was mentioned and we need to probably clarify some of the statements made. Okay, we'll take a roll call vote now. We have a quorum.
Bonilla.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Baker.
Here.
Bloom. Campos, Chang, Dodd, Eggman, Gatto, Holden, Mullen, Ting, Wilk, Wood.
We have a quorum. Thank you. We do have a quorum. In opposition, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this morning. I am Dr. Steve Given. I'm the Academic Associate Dean at ACTCM at the California Institute of Integral Studies, which is a California-approved acupuncture institution in San Francisco. I'm also the treasurer of the Council of Colleges of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, representing 60 accredited and candidate acupuncture programs in the United States. I am here to oppose AB 758. I believe that when the legislature passed and Governor Brown signed Senate Bill 1246, which essentially asked schools to go through an accreditation process with ACOM, which is the only USDE recognized programmatic accreditor for acupuncture programs, that was in fact the correct way to go, that is the best way, the only truly effective way to ensure the highest quality acupuncture education for the state of California. I think that is still absolutely true. The California Acupuncture Board has curricular requirements that need to be met by all California-approved schools, including my institution. In Senate Bill 1246, there is a provision for a 30-day review of curriculum. I think that was entirely appropriate, but the site visit and self-study process needs to go through a USDE-recognized accreditation process. I am one of the institutions that was described previously as having been inspected by the California Acupuncture Board, and I've been involved in acupuncture education in California for well over 20 years, and until last year had never seen a member of the California Acupuncture Board at my institution. And all of that time we've been going through a continuous process of improvement through self-study and accreditation, as do all academic institutions. And I think that remains the best way to ensure the best quality education, patient safety, and quality for consumers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also in opposition, welcome.
Morning, Madam Chair, members. Bill Mosca, California State Oriental Medical Association. We oppose the bill unless amended. Our issues are twofold. Firstly, we view the creation of a more generic standard with respect to accreditation as a step backwards in terms of the requirement. It would allow currently or beginning next year, institutions would be required to be both institutionally accredited and programmatically accredited through ACOM. By creating this more generic language that does not specify programmatic accreditation, it would allow institutions to be accredited solely as, under institutional accreditation and would not require the specialized programmatic accreditation that includes detailed curricular reviews of training programs. So we view this as a step backward in terms of the standard, a weakening of the standard. Secondly, the restoration of site visit authority to the board without giving it really anything to do other than a curricular check really raises some red flags for us. We're not convinced that there's any need to actually physically visit an institution in order to do the limited curricular check that the board's being charged with, which involves really just reviewing curriculum, syllabi. All this could be submitted for an administrative desk check by the board. We're concerned that this may lead to some regulatory overreach, some underground regulation, and for those reasons we're opposed unless the bill's amended.
Thank you. From ACOM.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Mark McKenzie. I'm the Executive Director of the Accreditation Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. And I'm here actually to help clarify any questions that any of the committee members have about ACOM. As you all hopefully have received, I sent a letter to each of you on January 6th, 2016 that addressed some specific information that had been circulated, and I received about 2 weeks ago that inaccurately and incorrectly portrayed the Accreditation Commission. I don't need to go back through that unless you have questions. And back in,
it would be helpful if you addressed what was raised in the oral testimony today
sure.
About the
USDE recognition, yes. Sure. And
standards as well.
Yeah. And I'll just refer you back to March of 2015. There was similar information that was being circulated about ACOM, and I also had submitted a letter at that point correcting the issues that were brought up by Representative Cho, respectfully. ACOM was reviewed in 2011 as we're on a 5-year cycle with the USDE. We are 100% compliant with USDE standards today, and we have been since June of 2013. We did have some non-compliance findings in June of 2011, and those were corrected and we're fully compliant. USDE reviews accreditation commissions every 5 years, and this is a standard process. The other thing that actually is incorrect is that in the event that we would have any deficiency findings this year, the same process, you basically get 1 year to fix those. And as we demonstrated back in 2012, we've already fixed all those areas. So I actually feel very strongly about where ACOM is, and I don't see any issue at all about USDE revoking ACOM accreditation. So any other questions?
The issue of standards being lowered somehow by the ACOM. Are you still maintaining the California standards, number of hours?
Yeah. So one of the issues that was brought up in some of the information was that ACOM does not maintain legal compliance or is not responsible to maintain legal compliance with California. That's absolutely false. We have to ensure that all schools are following California requirements. So in the event that we're reviewing a California school, we're likely going to use the same checklist that the California Acupuncture Board has developed. In fact, we've been in conversation with the California Acupuncture Board staff Within the last month, I had a fairly long conversation with the executive officer, and we expect to continue to have those conversations and to also work with BPPE to develop whatever memorandum of understanding is necessary to ensure that California standards are upheld and California curriculum requirements. And it's really, in California, it's curricular requirements versus standards. In the accreditation side, we have standards, 14 different standards going from mission, governance through program of study. There's also been put in information out there that we don't look at curriculum content. That's absolutely false. Absolutely false. Our site visits look at every aspect. We pull records, we pull patient records, student records. It's an integral part of a site visit process, and it has been since 1988 when we were first recognized by the Department of Education.
Thank you. And how many schools are currently accredited in California, acupuncture schools, and how many are not? Do you know?
There are about, that are located in California, there are about 4 or 5 institutions that are currently talking to ACOM about pursuing additional coverage by ACOM or accreditation by ACOM. The rest of the schools at this point actually are accredited by ACOM already.
Already?
So, oh yeah.
The vast majority.
Of California-based schools. And then there are about, as I think in your records, there are 36 schools, 22 I believe are in California, probably 17 or 18 are already accredited by ACOM. And we've got applications from at least 2 of those schools, 2 or 3 of those schools that have not been accredited yet.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in opposition? If you'd like to register your opposition with your name and organization. I'm going to ask ACOM to stay. I think we're going to have some questions from the committee perhaps. Seeing no other opposition, questions from committee members? Any questions from committee members? None? All right. That makes it easy. I'll make my comments. What we have here is a bit of a unique situation. Just for background, we do sunset review. That's one of our primary functions as the BMP committee. What sunset review is really is our oversight opportunity and obligation over the boards and bureaus here in the state of California. It's a very important process, and it's an important process that and it's very important that we retain the integrity of this function and this process. We understand that not every board and bureau is happy with their sunset review findings. However, when we do the sunset review process, there is an extensive research study opportunity that includes the board, many stakeholders, to come up with that bill. This was the Ted Lieu bill, SB 1246, was the result of a sunset review. That bill has not yet gone into effect. One of the negotiations, the compromise that Senator Lieu did at that time was to say we won't make it go into effect till 17. He worked very hard to develop compromises because it was a very there was a lot of discussion around the sunset review. Sunset review is to bring about improvements for the licensees. We had a situation with the acupuncture board where on the issue particularly of site visits, for 20 years no site visits had occurred. That is one reason that this change was made in the sunset review. We understand people are not happy with that. But to bring an individual bill forward to try to change the sunset review, and as far as procedure and process, this is why I've given a no recommendation on the bill. We have a sunset review currently underway with the acupuncture board. You will be hearing all these issues again in March. They are up again. And we gave a very short sunset review to the acupuncture board because of the number of issues that were still outstanding. So for those reasons, I think that, and not wanting to encourage a precedent that would have boards and bureaus coming forward with individual bills that they find around issues that they find that they disagree with in the sunset review, I have given a no recommendation for those reasons. So I think that we want to see the Lieu bill, SB 1246, which many of us actually voted on and was signed by the governor, actually take effect and have a chance to function. And if there are other issues, we have this sunset review process currently underway, and we will have a acupuncture sunset bill before us in March. So with that, I don't know if there's any other comments or questions, or we can go ahead and see if there is a motion or not.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll take the roll. It is a due pass to appropriation.
If I may, Madam Chair,
I'm
to
sorry.
close.
I'm so sorry. Of course you may.
Absolutely. Thank you very much again for taking time to work with my office as well as the sponsor. In fact, the same appreciation goes to every single member on the committee. In the last couple of days or so, we've been working extremely hard with every one of you. So I want to say thank you for your time and consideration. Now, I'd like to briefly, respond to some of the issues brought by either witnesses and or the chair. Yep. First of all, with respect to ACOM, I think the witness indicated that he acknowledged some issues with the previous review back in 2011, which were corrected, and he also indicated that obviously that he's pretty confident about the next set of review, which is going to happen this year. Now, having said that, I don't question that at all whatsoever, but I believe that having just one agency in statute, being the only agency that's obligated or having the ability to accredit acupuncture school, we run the risk of having just that. Now, in the rare event that the agency does not get accredited or does not get approved by the US DOE in 2016, now I'm just saying if. Now that will leave California without any accrediting agencies whatsoever. So that is the risk that we are running at this point. So so I strongly believe that we need to have more than just one agency in statute. Now, having said that, now with respect to the site visit, I think the sponsors have indicated earlier that they are willing to do away with the site visit. I think this was part of the discussion on the amendments. I understand that the amendments were being submitted a bit late. Now, however, they are willing to work with all of us going forward to, number one, do away with the site visit, give ACOM back this site visit authority, and yet having the board just approve school. So ACOM would still be able to accredit schools from this point on, yet they are willing, they want to retain the approval process for acupuncture school. I think it's been also said that California does have the highest standard when it comes to acupuncture, and what ACOM does is actually nationwide. They do it nationwide, and California is unique in the sense that it has the higher standards. Now, the chair also mentioned about the sunset. I understand that the timing is is a factor being considered by members of the committee. In that, in 2014 we did a sunset. In 2016 we're going to do another sunset. Yet, in the 2016 sunset review, the issue was not being considered. In fact, there's no guarantee that in the 2016 review, the same subject matter is going to be included. So there's also the danger that the issue being brought up by this bill will not be considered in the 2016 review. So that goes to explain the importance of this bill. Now, like I indicated, the sponsors are willing to work with us going forward to amend those changes into the bill. So with that, I want to ask all members of the committee to allow us that time to work the bill and make those changes and insert those amendments into the bill. So with that, I'd like to ask for your aye vote.
Thank you so much. Just for clarification, let's see if what I say takes care of your concern. I just need to point out that many of our schools have only one accrediting school. What do you call it? Agency in statute. That's very common. And in terms of an issue of an amendment, we don't do our bill work in committee. This is a 2-year bill. We had all fall to work on it. Didn't get there. And in terms of the sunset review, that hasn't happened yet. So we actually have no way to know that it's not going to be covered because I think it's going to be an issue we will talk about. And the standards, we've got to get this clear. In the Ted Lieu bill, the California standards are protected by statute. They are not being lowered in any way. It's the same number of hours that the California Acupuncture Board that have been there are protected in statute in the SB 1246. No standards were lowered by the sunset review process bill that we voted on. We wouldn't have voted on it if the standards were being lowered. That's not what we do. So anyway, so with that, I don't know if you want to add any clarifying comments.
Sure, just two quick points. USDE will never just completely withdraw accreditation from an accrediting agency that quick, because they actually understand that there are schools out there that rely on the accreditor. So there is a process that they go through. So it's not like they just pull it away. That just doesn't happen, and you can see that with San Francisco. The other issue is the difference between specialty accreditation and national accreditation, or these other standards. A specialty accreditor, which ACOM is, has specific standards developed for the acupuncture profession, much like medicine, physical therapy, chiropractic, all of the specialty professions. You can allow national accreditors to accredit acupuncture schools. However, they've never developed standards specific to the profession. So that's the difference between a USDE approved accreditor. You can approve it, you can open that up, but that actually waters down the bill, just as Mr. Mosk had said.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we'll take the vote. This is, we have a motion and a second. Do pass to appropriations.
Bonilla?
No.
Bonilla, no. Jones? No. Jones, no. Baker? Baker, no. Bloom? Bloom not voting. Campos? No. Campos, no. Chang? Aye. Chang, aye. Dodd? No. Dodd, no. Eggman? Gatto? Holden? Mullen? Ting? Aye. Ting, aye. Wilk?
Aye.
Wilk, aye. Wood? No. Wood, no.
Yeah. Right now it's 3 to 6, and we'll have it on call for other members to come in and vote on. Thank you so much. I do want to encourage everyone to participate in the sunset review process, and I'm sure we'll continue our discussions. Thank you so much for those who traveled to be here for the testimony today. We appreciate your interest and the discussion we'll continue to have. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Nazarian, thank you for being here. Mr. Nazarian, AB 796. Kala.